into the position. However, the 65 strike put gives me the right to sell to close that stock anytime between now and expiration at $65. So I'm only risking $2.05 between now and June, or 3.1%. That means the stock can drop 30%, 20%, 50%, but I still can't lose more than 3.1% on the position. Okay, this is a very protective strategy. It saved a lot of people, this technique and using collar spread saved a lot of people a lot of money in the past 4 or 5 months. When the stock market was trailing down, a lot of investors that we've talked to had good quality stocks in their portfolios with the protective put option in place. They reduced their risk dramatically, and they're still able to generate income, collect the dividends, and help pay for that initial risk. I mean, if you look at that right now, all I have to do is generate $2.05 of income in the next 172 days to pay for the total at-risk amount in this position. Okay. Now again, just as we saw on the covered call screen, I can link directly to the stock chart. I can review the company information. I can link to the option chain to view other put options. I can do detailed research on the stock or the option itself. I can look at the profit and loss chart. Let's just take a quick look at that. Remember when we saw our covered call position, we have a limited return of only about 2.2% if the stock stayed above our strike price, and that gave us an 8% downside protection. Here on the married put, when we go into the position, we know that we can't lose more than 3.1% no matter what the stock does, and we've given ourselves 172 days to pay for the minimum at-risk amount of $2.05. In addition to using different income methods to help pay for that $2.05 of risk, we can also generate further income, which will just give us a higher return, knowing we're never at risk for more than 3.1%. This profit and loss chart I'm linking to is a very useful tool, not only because it shows you the graphical interpretation of the position that you found using the Smart Search, but what I can also do is run my what-if scenarios specifically from this screen. So if I wanted to know what would happen, let's say if the stock was trading at $61 by March 26th, I could just go ahead and put in my expected stock price and then click Calculate, redraw the profit and loss chart for me, and it'll show me my gain on the stock, the theoretical difference in the put price based on the Black-Scholes pricing model. We see I could generate a profit here of about $54 if the stock was trading at 61. Now, what if I had just an expectation the stock might be trading at $59 in the next few weeks? Well, I'll just put in my expected stock price, select the date out in time, let's say 1/16. And here we see that this would have given me a gain of about $395 on the stock position. I only would have lost about $277 total on the put, so I'd have a gain of $118 on the position in the next few weeks if the stock moved up to $59. We could also, of course, run the worst case scenarios. What happens if the stock dropped down to $48? And just leave the date at 1/16. Here we see we have a total loss of $128. We lose $705 on the stock, but we gain $577 on the protective put option. So in these techniques, you can run your what-if scenarios to see the value of the position if the stock was trading on a certain price on a certain day. Now remember, the calculation for the return or the gain or loss on the option is based on the Black-Scholes theoretical pricing model. So that's one thing you just want to keep in mind. It's not set in stone. That's going to be your gain and loss on a given date if the stock's trading at a certain price. It's based on the theoretical pricing model. Now, also, from these particular screens, the last two buttons we wanted to take a look at here is the broker link. If you have an Options Express account or a Brokers Express account, you can set up what's called the broker link. So now that I've found my position, I've done my research and analysis, run my what-if scenarios, if I've activated the broker link, I can simply link the trade directly to my Options Express account from the More Information menu. In addition to that, I can also link the trade directly into the Portfolio tool by clicking Add to Portfolio. Okay? One thing I forgot to mention, and I do apologize for this, earlier, when we were making changes to our screen, we changed our maximum risk here on the married put, dropped down our stock price, and we left the other information alone. But now that I've gone ahead and made changes and I've run my search, if I'm happy with the results, all I have to do now is click the Save button at the top of the parameter field. This will open up two new fields for me, and I just have to enter in a search name for my new search that I just created, and we'll just call this My Married Put Search. And I can put in a description as well, created on December 30th. Okay, and then I'll just click Save This Search link. Now it's going to go ahead and rerun the search for me as it saves it, but you see now at the top, in that Search Settings Saved As field, my search name is now listed. And if I click the drop-down menu, I can always toggle back between the other default settings or other previously saved searches that I have. Okay. Now that we've gone ahead and isolated our position, the next step to do is I can link directly to the the portfolio tool. Now what the portfolio tool is going to help you do, it's going to help you paper trade and track these positions. And when I first link to the portfolio, it's going to ask me, do I want to place this position in a portfolio I already have or in a new portfolio? Well, let's just go ahead and put in a new portfolio called December 30th. Once I've selected that radio button, entered in the new name, just go ahead and click Insert. Okay, let me open this up for you guys so you can get a better view. All right, so we see here, it's copied over the stock symbol for me and my put option symbol that I was going to use in this particular married put trade. The current price of the stock and the current price of the put option are also in there as well. All I have to do is tell the system my total number of shares. For this, we'll go ahead and put in 200. And my total number of contracts, I'll go ahead and put in 2. Okay? And we also want to add in our commission fees. Let's just go ahead and say $9.95 for the stock and $9.95 for the option. Now, what if I had actually purchased these 200 shares of Walmart previously at a different price? Well, I just have to simply change those fields. Let's say I actually purchased Walmart on the 20th of December, and my cost per share at that time was only $53.85. Okay, so I just make that change, and then I can go ahead and hit the Submit button, and this will link me into what's called the Profit and Loss portfolio. And you see now that the tab for the My Portfolio tool has been highlighted since we've accessed these tools now. We are currently in what's called the Profit and Loss portfolio. This is where you can track your open positions to see your total gain and loss on the position and also do some comparisons as well. So we have our linked position. Now this is very important. This is shown as one married put. I have my stock and I have my put option. I have two separate brokers accounts, a cash account and a retirement account at two different brokers. I never look at any of my reports in my broker's portfolios, except for occasionally to make sure the money is right in both fields. Because a lot of times, if I have 7 or 8 multiple positions open in a portfolio, my portfolio listing in my broker might appear as long stock, short call, long put, long stock, short call, long put. None of them are linked together. You know, the put that's matched up with the stock on the top might be at the bottom, and it's very difficult to look at. This particular, our portfolio shows it as a linked position. And I'll show you a better demonstration of that in just a moment. But we have our listing, our number of shares and contracts, the price that we paid for the stock and the option, and then the current price of both legs of our position. Now it also shows us individually the gain or loss on each leg. So here I see I've currently made 2.1% on the stock. Remember, because I put in a different price from a previous date, and we've lost about 2.1% on the put option. Well, I didn't change the price of the put option, so how could I have lost money on it? Well, the reason why is because of the bid-ask spread. We originally paid $12 for our Walmart put, but the bid price is $11.80. Okay, so including our commissions, we've lost about $49.95 on the put contract. Okay, now in addition to looking at this in each individual leg, what I have added in here is a field for view position analysis. I checked this little box here. And what that did for me is allow me to view the total liquidation gain or loss on the position and the future expiration gain or loss over here on the right. So if I closed everything right now because of the gain I have in the stock, I'd have earned a profit of 1.2%. Okay, my original position cost was $13,189, and I have a liquidation value of $13,350. If I held this position to expiration and did absolutely nothing, okay, and the stock remained at the same price, my future expiration value